Hello everyone, greetings from VNR JYOTHI Institute of Engineering and Technology. This is Manohar Reddy, Department of Cybersecurity, Data Science and AADS. Today in this session I am going to discuss about the concept of file system mounting. So file system mounting, the concept which comes under the component of file management, which is component under the file management. So all these file management, file operations, file types, file attributes, all covered in this file system mounting. So file system mounting is nothing but, what is meant by mounting first of all? So mounting is a process in which the operating system adds the directories and the files from storage device to the user's computer file system. So here we can see the device component and disk component, device component and disk management, device management and disk management. These two components are working together to give an access for user files, to give an access for user files on the computer file system. So mounting is a process, nothing but what, which adds the directories, which adds the files, whatever the contents in the file management, all the directories and the files can be added to the particular device, particular storage device. So that means indirectly we can say that device component and disk component, or device management and disk management, both are interrelated, both are depending to each other for performing computer file system operations, So user wants to access the particular files, but where the files can be stored. User wants to access the particular files, but how the user can access the files. So for this, to do this process, the operating system supports file system mounting process. That means if the disk management and device management, disk component or device component, what those two are dependent to each other, then user can able to access the files from the particular disk structure, particular disk location. So the file system is attached to an empty directory. So the file system initially it is attached to an empty directory. By adding to the system, user can access the data that is available inside the storage device through the system file manager. So whenever you want to store a particular file into the particular disk storage, automatically the disk manager creates a disk directories, empty directories that is created by the file manager. And the disk manager gives the disk space to creating the directories. So by adding these files to the system, these files to the directories, the user can access the data that is available inside of the storage device. So storage systems can be internal hard disks, external hard disks, USB flash drivers and SSD cards, memory cards, network attached storage device, CDs and devices, remote file systems or anything else. So all these comes under the storage systems. So wherever you can save your files, but how the file manager is giving the access to access that particular file from the disk storage location or storage device location. So for this process, to do this all the process, file system mounting is a feature that is a feature introduced in the operating system for all the types of operating systems. So to do this file system mounting process, what are the terminologies that we used in the operating system? So first one is what? File system. So file system is nothing but it is a method used by the operating system to manage the data storage in a storage device. So where we can store the data and how we can store the data, how we are organizing the data. So can we organize the data in the directories? Can we organize the data in the folder? How we are organizing? So that method is nothing but file system implementation. So user can access and organize the directories and the files in an efficient manner. So user can access the particular directories and organize the files into the particular directories. And the device name, second one is what? The second one, device name. it is the name or identifier given to the storage partition. So where you want to store the file, where you want to store the file. So whether you are creating the storage device into the partitions, if you are creating that partitions, where you are going to store that file in the particular partition. So suppose take an example in Windows, if you are creating the multiple partitions like D drive, E drive, F drive, so where you are going to access, where you are going to store your file, either in the D drive, then give the name as D colon, either in the E drive, give the name as E colon, either in the F drive, give the name as F colon. So like this you can give the device name. And the mount point, so it is an empty directory in which we are adding the file system during the process of mounting. So how we are going to give the mounting point. So suppose if I have the particular file in the D drive, so like this file1.txt. So how you are going to give the mounting point, give the mounting point. So that is what the mounting, so mount point. So from where it is being accessed, so through the D drive it is accessed, through VNR VJET folder it is accessed, through where it is accessed. So that is nothing but what? Mounting point. If you see this, mounting means connecting a storage device to the system so you can use its files. So connecting storage device to the system so that you can use its files. So wherever you are storing all the files, that can be used to access the particular files. So without mounting, the OS cannot access the data on the device. So you know the device where you can store, and you know the file where, in which device it is stored. So you know the device, you know the file where it is stored. Then you can do the process of mounting. So you can create the mount point. So through that mount point you can able to access. See this example. This is the root directory. This is the root directory which is created as a directory, and these are all the different mount points. These are all the different mount points, and in these mount points you are creating the files. Suppose take an example. I am creating the folder A is the root directory. In this A is the root directories. I am creating the B, C, D as the directories or folders. In this B folder I am creating one file 1.txt, and in C folder file 2.txt, and D folder file 3.txt. So the files from this mounting point we can able to access. So how we are going to access? /A/B file1.txt. So this is the mounting path. So here you can see the /div/sda1/files. Like this you can able to access your files. So like the way you can create the mounting points. So how you are going to perform these operations? The operating system is giving the name of the storage device. Obviously whenever you want to store a particular file, it is giving the name of the storage device, either E drive, either D drive, or if you are connecting any external hard disk also, it is naming the particular point like F drive or Z drive, whatever it may be, and the specific directory mount point where it should be attached also. Once you are mounted, any attempt to access that particular mount point directory will instead show the contents of the new file system. So once you are mounting that particular directory, it is showing the contents of the file system, and the files or subdirectories that were previously in the mount point directory are hidden, while the new file system is mounted but become available again when the file system is unmounted. So whenever you want to access the particular files or folders, then the file mounting is mandatory. After accessing that particular files, you are going to file system is unmounted. Once you are accessing the file is mounted. Once it is over, then you are come back from the original position, then the file system is unmounted. So this allows the system to integrate multiple storage devices into single unified directory tree structure. So this implementation of the system allows you to integrate multiple storage devices into single directory structure. So in simple words, we can say that the OS assigns mount point. The OS always assigns mount point. That means it is giving the created directory and created folder to you. It is giving the created directory. By default, if you are not creating any directory, it is always creating the name called folder 1 and file 1, it is always by default it is creating with the folder 1 and file 1 with the default names, right? So the OS assigns a mount point which is creating a directory or folder. The file system of the device is attached to the directory. So whether E drive or either F drive or whatever it may be, the file system of the device name is attached to the directory. After mounting, the files can be accessed like a normal files. After mounting, the files can be accessed like a normal files. So there are two types of mountings. One is what? Manual mounting. So in the manual mounting, user can done by using the commands. User can done by using the command. Mostly happen in the Linux operating systems. So always when user wants to store a particular file, he always checks the mounting points like root slash lib slash bin. Through the directory you can able to save that particular file. And the second one is what? Automatic mounting. So it is done automatically by OS when device is connected. When automatically device is connected. So automatically it is connected through GUI. And unmounting is nothing but what? Removing the device safely from the mounting point. Removing the device safely from the mounting point. So that ensures if you are not doing properly unmounting process, that ensures that data loss will be occur. So to do not happen that one, you need to remove the devices safely. So because of that, the OS always notifies. OS always gives the notifications that when you are connected to the operating system, the device is safely removed. The device is safely removed. So like that, notifications have been released from the operating system. So mounting in different operating systems. So in the Unix based operating system, we want to mount particular SDB1 to an existing directory /mnt. So how you can able to do this? Sudo is the common command, the root command to give the permissions that into the mount directory. So mount /dev /sdb1/mmt /my disk. So this is the entire mounting path. We can call it as this is entire mounting path. So through this /dev we are going to mounting this particular my disk. After mounting we have to unmount. We have to unmount after use. So sudo unmount /mnt /my disk. That means we are going to disconnect from the my disk. We are going to disconnect from the my disk. So through this we are performing this unmount operations. So unmount operation. So in Windows operating system, it is very easy for the users. When we connect to the external storage device, Windows automatically detect the file system and mount it to the drive letters. So drive letters may be either DR, ER, F or Z, whatever it may be. It is depending upon the drive letter which you are already given. So whenever you want to connect an external storage device to your PC, Windows detects the file system on the drive, example FAT32 or NTFS, and assigns it drive letters such as E drive or F drive or whatever it may be. So you can access the drive by going through this PC file explorer, E drive, and access the data, right? So like the way you can able to access the data. So this is nothing but what? Manual mounting. You can call it as it is manual mounting. And in Windows, mounting works a bit differently and it is mostly automated. So storage devices are typically assigned with a drive letter. So mount disk image path. So if you see, this is the mounting path. This is the mounting path to access the particular image.iso file. So to access this image.iso file, how you are mounting? Through this C drive, you are going to enter into the C drive, then you are going to enter into the path folder, then you are going to enter into the to folder, where there you can access your image.iso file. And to dismount, that means unmount process. So image process from this C drive path to image, we are going to dismount. So like the way you can perform the file system mounting operations. So the overall file system mounting is nothing but what? How you are going to access your files, and how your file management is connected with the device management. So I hope all of you understand. If you want to see the more content of the file system mounting concepts, you can use this following referrals. And thank you.
Like, share, comment, and subscribe VNR Digital Learning Resource YouTube channel.